Michael is a CEO of Silent-Yachts. He told me he's a reformed sailor. He and his wife, Heika, have sailed all around the world and learned a lot about management and production of energy on board yachts. And for the last 10 years, he's been developing a number of solar-powered yachts, and the Silent-Yachts is the latest iteration of that venture. Silent-Yacht produces the Silent 55, 64, and 79, the new flagship, right? And you have 3 of those under construction?
Yes, we have several of each type under construction. And the latest one, the biggest one is our Silent 79, and we have 3 of them under construction right now, yes.
Great. So I would like you to start by telling everyone a little bit more about your specific technology. You're both using the sun, obviously, as a source of energy, but in different ways. You own power catamarans, and so far on sailing yachts, and they're a little bit different. So Michael, tell me a little bit about how you apply, you use solar panels in your particular world.
Yeah, we have solar panels on the roofs of our boats, and with the solar energy, we generate the power we need for all the hotel appliances as well as for the propulsion. So it's depending on the size of the boat. Maybe you can show the pictures I gave to you. This was our first prototype, a 46-foot boat, a testing boat, which already made about 50 kilowatt hours a day, which is quite nice for this size of boat. On the next one, on the 55, it's about the same and a little bit more. If you could please change the photo. And what do we have this here? Can I use it, this one? Yeah. So this is the 55. On the 55, it's about the same amount. This boat already can go up to 20 knots, top speed, purely electrically, without running a generator, because the energy is stored in the batteries, and we can take it from the batteries for propulsion as well as for household appliances. And with the 64, which is a very, very efficient hull, we can generate nearly double the amount of power. And this boat, also goes 10, 12 knots easily, even though it's a slow hull compared to the others. And our new flagship, the Silent 80, as we call it right now, is producing 3 times more energy. We are talking about 150 kilowatt hours per day, which is sufficient to propel the boat, as it is a very efficient hull for 6 knots all day long. And it has unlimited range, of course, at a slower speed. And this boat also has a top speed of about 20 knots. Okay, short term, yes, only on solar, but as we use a big generator on board, this boat can extend its range nearly to unlimited, and also the range at higher speeds. So the main thing of our system is that for normal, average holiday usage, as we call it, we have plenty of power without running the generator, or with only running it 1 or 2 hours a day. If higher speeds are desired for a longer period of time, the generator will supply the needed energy.
Thank you.
So you can only achieve that through a combination of energies.
Michael?
I agree in that point. It's because also on our boats we use sun fuel, very little, and only if, let's say, if you want to be more flexible. Yeah? For example, if my wife and I are on the boat, we don't use fuel at all for weeks, and we move the boat every day. We have journalists and customers on board. We prove it every single time that we don't need fuel. For last year, for example, 2 times 6 weeks. Not even once we started the generator.
What speed do you usually go?
As it was for testing with customers and mainly for journalists, because they want to see top speed, all of them. And they want to measure the noise that is being emitted by the electric engine, which is no noise, but also full speed. But still, If you're happy with tiny restrictions, actually less than any sailboat has, because a sailboat is only a sailboat if there is wind, and if you are happy with the power the wind supplies. So we have less restrictions than any sailboat, because our power is stored in the batteries, and we can go faster than the sun is shining, and we can consume more for the moment.
So how fast is fast?
20 knots is a maximum. Normal fast for us, because 20 knots as a top speed is really wasting energy. So 10 knots for us is already a high speed. Normal cruising speed, honestly, is about 6 knots. And with 6 knots, usually people cross the Atlantic. That's the normal speed on every normal average sailing boat.
Sailing, yes.
Yes, sailing. By the way, where are they? The super yachts, okay, super yachts, big super yachts, cross the Atlantic with a little bit higher speed. But below 25 meters, there are very, very few boats on the market that even have the range to cross an ocean. So that's the reason why I think our concept is quite competitive to be able to cross an ocean with 0 emissions.
So, but do you foresee a super yacht? Let's say, I don't know, what's the average? I don't know. We've seen an awful lot of 70-meter plus nowadays.
Yeah.
Could you foresee the application of this technology to these big mega yachts?
Yes, of course, but not for propulsion, because honestly, this is not sufficient, yes. But for hotel loads, yes, if the super yacht industry does more for, how to express it, regarding energy consumption of their components. For example, air conditioning is a main consumer on most of the boats. We reduce the consumption of our air conditioning systems significantly by fully insulating the hull, which is normal on super yachts, but not on smaller ones. So fully insulated. We have another inclination on the windows. We have less deck edges, as you can see on these photos. And we try to not to waste the energy, not to use pumps that are too big for this purpose, which is usually the case on super yachts. If there is not enough power, they simply put a bigger generator. This is how they adapt the problem usually. We try to downsize it and reduce the overall consumption by making everything not bigger as really required.
I assume that if we were to apply solar energy technology to super yachts, there would be a lot of changes that have to be made in both the manufacturing aspect as well as educate the crew and the owners on how to use the boat. And solar panels, well, are not always the best looking, at least in our current view. So how do we address this problem if we were to integrate solar panels?
I think
flexible or not?
I think this is really a problem of to which you are accustomed to. Imagine cars 50 years ago. They looked strange, didn't they? They looked strange, yeah? So the haircut of the 70s and 80s, if you see an old movie, looks strange. So I think it's rather a question what you are accustomed to. I think, in my opinion, of course, our first boat, maybe if we can show it one more time. Our first boat, in fact, now this is the last, can I go back maybe faster? This one here looked a bit strange. Yes, I agree, but this was a prototype. And I think if you look at the boat like this or like this, it looks more than a modern, a normal appearance of a yacht. And even in our latest one, I think the symbiosis has been completed. It can be good looking if you do it in the right way. And by the way, the designer of this boat is sitting right here, Marco Casali. Thank you for this great work of art. So regarding sales, everybody connects sales in his mind with adventure, yeah? With endless cruising, with freedom. Yeah? This is what everybody thinks and sees when he sees an old square-rigged sailing boat. But honestly, the new boats with metal sticks up in the sky, which very rarely are really carrying sails, because most of the times they are not sailing, they're standing somewhere. Is this really good looking? So,
Speaking of sales,
Well, I have to defend my chapel here.
what are some of the more promising technology? Michael, would you like to address this? I mean, beyond the current solar panels as we know it.
what do you mean, beyond solar panels?
You know, to generate more energy more efficiently.
People ask me very often what it will be the next step, what are we going to do next, and how can we improve it. I have a very simple, actually maybe even conservative answer. We only install in our boats what can be bought on the market, which is really available, which is more or less on stock. Everything else is dreaming, or is wishful thinking, or is future, which is absolutely desired. Like in the former speech, we are absolutely waiting for such a hydrogen solution. Yeah, keen on. Yeah, but still, it's not available right now. We have to wait another, I don't know, 2 years, 5 years. However, so for the moment, in my opinion, and we are using 23% efficiency cells. This is for us absolutely a solution that works, and we prove every year with hundreds of customers that it works, and we show it to them that the boat does not need an additional energy source, because this is already sufficient. So of course we would be able to drive faster, yeah, to consume more energy if we have other better, more efficient sources, but it's already working. For us, as I said before, we only can install what is already available on the market. But what I like to ask the superyacht industry is to maybe rethink your. My English is not good enough, probably. Rethink your thinking. So to try to save energy, not to waste them, not to go just simply for the easy solution of installing a bigger generator. Think how you can reduce the power consumption, the overall consumption in your boat, and then many other already existing solutions become viable, become feasible, and the overall consumption of your boat and the costs and also the acceptance by the owner would be much better, much higher.
The Moore's Law, the rate of the doubling of energy, how long a period is that? Do you expect for the wattage to double in solar panels? Is that a 20-year projection now? Is it a 5-year?
For the moment, we produce on 1 square meter, or let's say we have efficiency on our panels, which are sun power panels, it's no secret, 23% efficiency. That means 230 watt on a nominal standard radiation of 1000 watt per square meter. Sometimes it could be much higher or less, yeah? But at 1000 we get 230 watt per square meter. And to double this will take quite some time, because 23 is already high.
Please join me in thanking our guest speakers.